Honey, where did you go? I've been trying to reach you and your mom for a long time now, but I couldn't get a hold of either of you.
Well, that's because we are gone for the whole day. We decided to go to the theater to catch a show that we've been wanting to see. After that, we're going to have a nice dinner at a fancy restaurant that's near the theater. And then we'll probably make our way back home, whenever we feel like it. There's no rush.
Spending the entire day at the theater? Just the two of you, without me?
That's right. You're not exactly in a position to be able to join us, are you? You have to stay at home and look after the old man, who can't do anything for himself. That's your job, not mine.
Yeah, but you could have at least told me about your plans. You could have let me know what you were up to so that I wouldn't worry about you.
And what difference exactly would that have made? You would still be stuck at home with that old guy who needs constant attention and care. Whether I told you or not, it wouldn't change anything, right?
Please, don't refer to him like that. He's your father, and he deserves some respect. It's mean-spirited and wrong to call him that, you know?
Old man is good enough for the likes of him. He doesn't deserve any better. He's never been a good father to me, or a good husband to my mom.
You and your mom are far too cold and harsh to him. He's a human being, not an object. Is there really any need for that kind of treatment?
He's a weak, useless, pathetic father, and he's always been that way. That's why I call him that. He's a sad sight to behold. I can't stand looking at him, lying there, helpless and hopeless. To make matters worse, now he's just some baggage to be looked after. He's a burden on us, and you. I'm wondering why he won't hurry up and kick the bucket already.
That's not fair. You know, the situation he's in wasn't of his choosing, and it's not a reason to ridicule him or wish him dead. It's the sickness that's made him like this. He's suffering, and he needs our love and support.
Oh, that's just typical of you. You're always taking his side in everything. Gosh, you're just as useless as he is. Is that why you're so sympathetic? Because you see yourself in him? What a pitiful pair you two are.
Just as useless? How can you say that to me?
My dad is baggage to be looked after. And you're infertile. A wife who can't bear children. What else would you call that but useless? You're a failure as a wife. And as a woman. I expected better out of you.
That weighs on me too. And I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry I couldn't give you what you wanted.
Mother agrees with me too. She said as much. She said I made a mistake marrying a person that can't give me children. That you're a disappointment of a wife. That all you're good for is looking after my hopeless father. That's what Mother thinks of you. And she's right.
There's no shame in looking after your father. I never thought of it as a burden. He's a kind man, and he always was good to me. He welcomed me into this family, and he treated me like a daughter. I'd give him however much care he needed because I love him.
He's only nice to you because he sees a kindred spirit in you. He thinks of you as his sole ally. Because until you came along, there was nobody to take his side. He was alone because his wife and son hated him. His attachment to you was just the product of having an ally in the house. Someone who would pity him and listen to him.
It's terrible the way you treat him. Don't you think it's cruel? Don't you have any compassion?
What's that? What are you accusing me of? Are you trying to make me feel guilty?
Just like how you and your mom run off to the theater and go eat at fancy restaurants. The money that pays for all of that sustains that lifestyle, was money made by your father. He worked hard to earn that money and to provide for this family. And now you're spending it without a care, without any gratitude.
You're right. He did make that money. And that's all he was ever good for. He had money. But it's not like he was a self-made man. He didn't start from the bottom and work his way up. He inherited that money from his parents, who were rich and powerful. So at the end of the day, that's what he had. Money, but nothing else.
There you go saying that again, diminishing his accomplishments. He didn't just inherit that money, he invested it. He grew it. He made it work for him. He was a smart and successful businessman, and he had a reputation and a name in the industry. He was respected and admired by many.
That old man? He came from money that can't be denied. So he had an advantage over others who had to struggle and fight for their opportunities. He had it easy and he took it for granted. And now, he's not exactly in a position to be spending that money or enjoying it. He's bedridden and dependent on others. So that's where we come in. We're just finding good ways to spend it for him. And it's our right as family to do so. We're living the life that he couldn't.
While he may not be able to get around, he still has his faculties about him. He's still aware and conscious and intelligent. You and your mom treat him like he's less than human. Like he's a thing, not a person. I can't imagine how sad that must make him feel.
Like it's any of my concern how he feels. I don't care about his feelings or his thoughts or his opinions. I wish he would hurry up and disappear. He's just a waste of space and a drain on our resources. He's a nuisance and a problem. And I want him gone. I suppose I should have mentioned it sooner, but we're leaving for vacation tomorrow. We're going to see the world.
Oh, we are? That's quite a surprise to drop on someone out of the blue.
Yeah, I made the arrangements a long time ago. I've been looking forward to it for months. The thing is though, I never bothered to tell you. Oh, did I mention? We're sailing on a luxury cruise ship.
Well, that's nice, I suppose. But what about your father? You're not planning to take him with you, are you?
No, of course not. You're absolutely right. That's where you come in handy. We're going. Just the two of us. Mom and I. It'll be much more enjoyable that way.
And what about me? Where do I fit in this plan? You're just going to abandon me here?
Isn't it obvious what you'll be doing? There's no way I could drag someone in a state like my father on a trip like this. Not with how much constant care he requires. Which means I need someone to stay behind and look after him.
And so that's what you expect us to do? Playhouse for you?
Well, he can't just be left to fend for himself. Not for how long we'll be gone. After all, if something were to happen to him, we would have blood on our hands. There's no need to risk such a disaster by recklessly leaving him alone. Because I think it's better that it's just the two of us going this time. That way, there won't be anyone around who might ruin our fun.
Oh, and who would that be? Who would do such a thing?
Isn't it obvious? I'm talking about you and the old man.
So, you two are going to indulge yourselves on your father's hard-earned money, all while he's left behind. And a cruise, no less. Just how much did that set you back?
Look, I've been dying for a foreign trip for a long time now. It's been ages since my last one. And I want my mom to see the breathtaking European sights. As for the cost, well, it wasn't a bargain, but well within our budget.
That's your dad's money you're talking about?
Indeed, the same money that will be mine someday. For that reason, it's also mine to us. What I do with my money is my business. If I feel generous, I might bring you back a souvenir or something.
All this, and your dad's condition has been steadily deteriorating? So you two think you can just squeeze in a lavish European cruise? One in which you don't even bother to invite the rest of your family?
I'm sure it's just a minor ailment, nothing serious. Not that I would care if something grave happened to him.
I can't believe you. You're heartless, the both of you. And you're acting so selfish.
You got something to say? Some griping to do?
I've got a lot to say. The way you act would drive anyone insane. What did we ever do to deserve this? How did we ever wrong you? What nerve you two have to think that you can just go off and do whatever you please?
That's a lot of talk for a housewife. I thought you knew better than to mouth off like that. I could throw you out if I really wanted to. You know that, right? And if I did that, you'd end up on the streets with not a dime to your name. You'd have nothing.
When he finds out about the kind of spending you two are doing, about just how irresponsible you are, it's enough to make even your father angry. This time he will really lose it.
He can be angry if he wants. It's not like he can do anything in the state he's in. If he dares to lay a hand on one of us, I'll send two back. He's no match for me. I'll beat him to a pulp. That might teach him a lesson.
You are a truly cruel, hateful person, you know that?
Hey, you're still at the house, right? I just touched down. I'm on my way to you. Whip up something delicious for dinner. It's been a hell of a day. I sure have craved some home cooking. There's just something magical about it. The flavors of Europe are amazing, but nothing beats a good burger and fries.
Welcome back, honey. So you're finally back on American soil? It's been ages, right?
Oh, about that gift I promised I would get you? I totally forgot. It didn't even enter my mind. But who gives a damn, right? Hope you weren't hoping for anything special.
Where are you? Are you heading to the house right now?
I just grabbed my bags and hopped into a cab at the airport. I'll be there soon. Traffic is pretty smooth, so go get cracking on my meal now. I want it piping hot out of the oven. I'm starving over here. They don't feed you nearly enough on those overseas flights.
You've got some gal texting me out of the blue like this.
I think I want something hearty for dinner. A nice, succulent steak would be great. And do some potatoes with them mashed, of course. You know how I love them. Oh, and if you have time, a fresh loaf of bread would be nice.
2 months away? And you don't even have the slightest curiosity in what we've been doing? And what about your father? Don't you give a damn about his health? Do you remember the state he was in when you left? Are there more important things than the damn dinner menu?
Huh? Why should I give a damn about how he's doing? And you? What could you have possibly been doing of interest? Look, I'm exhausted. It was a very long flight and I thought I'd made it clear to you to get to the cooking. I meant that. At this rate, you'll just keep on wasting time whining about this and that. And before you know it, I'll have arrived.
You really are hopeless. There's no fixing that fact. It's enough to make a parent disown their child. Your behavior, it's just awful.
Hey, watch your mouth. Talking about me like that? You think you run the place now? We're gone for 2 months and you think you're the boss?
No, I don't think that. Not at all. But it's the truth, and I'm just telling it like it is.
Hey, where's the house at? I don't see either of you. Where did you go? And why is the house gone? How did that happen? There's just an empty lot here.
You reap what you sow. It was inevitable. This is just the consequence of you two going too far one too many times.
What is this nonsense? What are you talking about? What on earth happened here?
I warned you, didn't I? That even your father would be furious at this? That's what I said, wasn't it?
Damn it! Be straight with me, woman. Tell me what happened. Mother beside me here is in a state of panic. She's collapsed to her knees. Is this what he is doing? Is this the old man behind all of this?
As you can see, the house was demolished and then the lot was sold.
What on earth? What did you do? Why?
Me? I didn't do anything. It was all your father's doing. Oh, and that's not all. He made sure to be comprehensive. All his cars, his stocks, and any other things of value were sold off and liquidated.
What? Why would he do that? What does that damn old timer think he's doing? Those were our things too.
It all started right after you two left, and it was very quick. Your father used his connections. He called a realtor, a lawyer, and an accountant. By the end of the week, the house was totally empty. He had everything hauled away to be sold. The demolition happened right after. I was shocked at how fast everything happened.
Where are you now? Where did you go?
I'm back at my parents' house. I moved back in with them for the time being. Your father paid for my flight and all the associated moving expenses. I couldn't have done it without him.
So we leave and you two are just going to take it upon yourselves to do whatever you please? Who gave you permission to do any of this? Why did you think that this was okay?
It was your father's decision. He said everything in motion. Also, I've decided that we're getting a divorce. I can't stand it anymore. I'm sure you're tired of having traveled for so long, but make sure to cooperate so that we can get this over with.
I'm telling you, don't get ahead of yourself. This isn't final.
This is all because you selfishly decided to take that trip. It's your fault. The necessary paperwork has already been given to a divorce lawyer. It's too late now. Your father is graciously paying for the legal services for the divorce as well. He's been too generous.
That limp-wristed old man did all of that. He would never do something like this before. He's really going to try and cut all ties with us? He's going to ruin us. He'll ruin the whole family. And to have the house demolished? Is he right in the head? Was there any need for that?
It's because you truly angered him this time. Worse than you ever had before. He's also doing this in part on my behalf to make amends for your treatment of me. He said that he wanted to teach you a lesson, that it was for me that he was going to do this to you.
So to get back at me, he agreed to pay for whatever legal fees came from getting a divorce? And he's fronting the moving expenses as well? All for my downfall.
He said that if we were to get a divorce, that he wanted to ensure that I had every advantage possible. He also said he's going to do whatever he can to make sure I get the most amount in alimony payments as possible. Also, your father told me that he intends to get a divorce as well. He's done with your mother and that she needs to be taught a lesson as well.
Think about my mother in all of this. How horrible this will be for her. She can't get a divorce at her age. What is she even supposed to do?
Isn't that exactly what you tried to do to me back then when you threatened me?
I was joking. I wasn't going to go through with it. It was just a bluff. I never seriously thought of abandoning you. I would never do that.
Just know that all that has happened is because of your actions. You reap what you sow. Just because your father didn't say anything when you treated him so poorly, you thought you could get away with everything. You abused his kindness, and you took advantage of him.
Quit messing around. This isn't funny. The truth is that he should actually be thankful that we lived with him for so long. When he got sick and needed help, he had a place to stay. We provided that to him.
What's there to be thankful for in that? Do you know what you're saying? He would have been happier anywhere else but that house. While in that house, all he got was terrible treatment from the both of you.
Silence! I won't hear these accusations. Being at home is the ultimate happiness for the elderly. We gave him that happiness.
But the real reason he was there was to avoid having to pay someone else to look after him. Isn't that right? That would have been costly, and you had other plans for that money. And it was convenient to have me there to do the work. It didn't cost anything that way.
I gave you something to do. You who were worthless otherwise. We did this all for you two. And this is the thanks we get? You should know your place. Don't think I'll let you get away with this. I won't forgive you for this.
Look at you. You're still trying to argue from a position of power. It's getting tiresome. I'm tired of doing this.
It doesn't matter what father does. The right to his fortune lies with me. It's my money. Now, where did he go? Tell me, then I'll take what's rightfully mine, even if I have to force it from him.
He's in a home for the elderly. He checked himself into one. And as for his fortune, I'd imagine it's mostly gone by now. He paid for 5 years at the facility in advance, all in one check. Those places sure are expensive. I was surprised at the amount when I heard it. All the liquidated money, his savings. There's hardly anything left. Certainly little left for you.
There's nothing left? My inheritance.
Your father's estate is his to do with as he pleases, and he did. It's too late. There's nothing you can do at this point.
That can't be. My inheritance can't be gone. I need that money.
I can't tell you how much it pains me to tell you this, but there is no money for you to inherit. So that means nothing for you. I know how much you were counting on it. It must be awful.
That bastard? Tell me his address, I'll find him.
And do what? Assault an old man in a nursing home? I'd advise against that. The facility is on watch for family members under suspicion that they might do him harm. If you try and go for visitation, you'll probably be accompanied by security.
At every turn, he's trying to make a fool out of me.
It's what anyone would do to protect themselves. I certainly would, but more importantly, how long do you intend to keep that front up? Isn't it getting old? Don't you think you should stop and consider the implications of the position you're in?
Good morning. I hope you had a peaceful sleep. Yesterday, I was completely out of line. I was blinded by rage and made a lot of threats. I'm sorry about that. Let's start fresh. Do you think you could listen to me? I think it will be worth your while.
I'm not troubled by your behavior yesterday. It was only natural considering what transpired. And I'm accustomed to it anyway. You always acted so haughty towards me. Your father is accustomed to it too. You treated him even worse than you did me.
I did some terrible things to him. Some things I regret deeply. We've both pondered on our actions. Many regrettable things came to pass because of us. I think I speak for both of us when I say that. I'm truly sorry about all that has occurred up to this point.
That's quite the turnaround you had there. I'm a little astonished. Do you comprehend now? You didn't seem to yesterday. The tables have turned. We have the upper hand now.
No, I get it. I really do. We're in a dire predicament. Our selfish behavior was excessive. We were cruel to our dad. Worse than we would be to any stranger.
And this is your attempt to make amends. A simple apology to make everything right. If you think this is sufficient to get on my good side, you are mistaken. Whatever, you're concerned about the divorce proceedings. They are underway. Are you worried that you won't have anything left now with no inheritance? That I'll run off with the rest of your money?
I'm worried about what will happen to Mother at the end of this. She will be left penniless, and I will be the one caring for her going forward.
You're right, that is a difficult situation. She's never worked after all, and probably couldn't at her age. Not like she would, even if she could.
So because of that, I need some of my savings. I can't have you running off with everything.
In other words, are you trying to strike a bargain?
Let's just agree to split our stuff 50-50. Please, I'm pleading.
No, I have no intention of compromising on that front.
Don't be so obstinate. There has to be something I can do.
With how you've done as you pleased up till now, enough is enough. You've had all the chances I'm willing to give from now on. You can try living modestly and frugally. I know that will be hard for you.
It isn't a matter of losing a bit of money. We're talking about everything. All my savings are gone. I'll be left impoverished. You wouldn't do that to me, right?
Not impoverished. You'll still have your work after all is said and done. And your mother even has her pension together. That should be enough to live a modest life going forward.
But there's a world of difference between that and how we've been living. Mother can change her lifestyle. She's lived luxuriously for decades.
Are you in a position to be saying such extravagant things? How spoiled you two are. She will spend less. There's no other option. That is your reality. She can wail and cry, and that life of spending, however, she wants will never come back.
Yeah, but that's a tragic position for her to be reduced to.
Don't think this applies just to her. Your high roller days are over as well. Since it's come to this, you probably should have found a higher paying job. You were so reckless in your choice of work, knowing you had your father's inheritance to fall back on.
I never thought he'd coerce me like this, that he would do this to us. I mean, he went and had the whole house destroyed. He got rid of everything.
And he didn't hesitate either. He said that he had nothing but bad memories of that house. He wanted to bury those memories. And for a house that he had built for his family, for that to be his reward, it's just dreadful to think about.
But it's still crossing the line, right? No matter how furious he may have been at the moment, that's just too extreme.
It shows just how deep the resentment ran now. You pushed him to the edge. I was only married to you for 5 years, but he had to spend decades there. It's unthinkable what he suffered. They say that it's the quiet ones that are the most terrifying when they get angry. I hope your suitcase is still ready because you're going to be living out of it for the foreseeable future. After that, divorce negotiations ensued between us through our attorneys. I was able to demonstrate that he was the source of considerable emotional turmoil that destroyed our marriage. In the end, our assets were mostly awarded to me. The divorce of my former in-laws concluded with his mother allocated nothing. She really was left destitute with that. Both divorces were finalized. He and his mother lived together for a while, but she couldn't control her spending because she tried to resume the same lavish lifestyle as when she was married. He had to take on debt to pay for it, and that wrecked the two's relationship. Shortly after moving back home, I rekindled an old friendship and we started dating. We got married. I worried about my ex's father, so I tried to go and see him once a year to give him some company, but he passed away right at the end of the 5 years, right as his advance payments ran out. I heard that he had contracted cancer before he died, but so as to not have any of the money go to his son, he fought and just barely made it to the end of his 5 years. That was how sincere his grievances were, even for his family. Don't go buying hate.